try a 3 inequality situation. And so starting tomorrow, I can AC you on that as well, right? Yep. Did I talk about you being lucky to be at Sisler? Yeah. About the 4-period days? I'm always forgetting who did I say that to, but um, and you have you are still experiencing the legacy of Mr. Heshka. Believe it or not, he's still in all of our hearts, and he inspired us to keep going. Okay, so all of that, this building is still going to be great for years to come. Okay, um, but Mr. Heshka always said, this is a place of business, right? We need to do, he wanted you to work hard, right? To be prepared for the workforce. And so that's what we're doing here, okay? Ultimately. You may forget how to graph an inequality a couple months from now, right? You move on. But the skill you learned on how to study will remain. That will stay with you, okay? So keep that in mind as we work through these questions. Okay, so how about we just break them down one by one? So 15x minus 5y is less than 100. I'll work with that one first. I'll come up with the x and y intercepts. All right, so we have 15x is equal to 100. So now we're dealing with the boundary line. So we forget about the inequality for a bit. Right? Some of you have done this, so you know exactly what these numbers should look like, right? And so this is 6.67. So 6.670. Make sure you do your rounding correctly. If you want to leave it as a fraction, I'm okay with that. Negative 5y is equal to 100. Don't drop the negatives, okay? Y is equal to negative 20, so that's 0, negative 20. So bigger number, right? Like that's, you should get used to that. They will get even bigger. Okay, so you have that. And then we rewrite that one. So it's negative 5y less than negative 15x plus 100. Right? So basically the 15x came over the inequality and it turned negative. Now you're going to divide everything by negative 5 and it flips the inequality, okay? First and foremost. So you end up with 3x positive minus 20. I like to circle that because I'm going to come back to it. Let's tell ourselves that this is going to be a dashed line. And true is, where is true? Above, right? Y is greater than, true is above. We're going to shade below because we do reverse shading, okay? All right, let's do the second one. I will kind of break this down and just make a line here. And I like to have them side by side. So 2x minus 3y is greater than or equal to 2, oops, my bad. That's 2x plus 5. Before I do anything, I'm going to distribute. Okay, so 2x minus 3y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 10. And then what now? You can bring this 2x over to this side if you want, or vice versa, but what do you think is going to happen with the 2x's? You're going to cancel out, regardless of what you do. So there isn't really a right or a wrong way to do this as long as you keep your signs the way they're supposed to be. So that ends up being negative 3y is greater than or equal to 10. And what is this? This is a special case, right? So don't find the intercepts. As soon as you identify that it's a special case, you don't need to find that. Y is flips, right? Negative 10 over 3. Right? That's approximately, right? Or that's 3.33 repeated, right? And so we'll leave it at that. So that's a special case. Horizontal line. But it's going to be a solid line. True is where? Y is less than. True is below. So we're going to shade above. Does that make sense when I do that? We're reverse shading, so we need to tell ourselves, remember to shade the opposite of true, right? So I want to help you out. That's why I'm doing this. So hold on. So let's say you wouldn't have noticed that this is a special case. You would have just went straight into finding the intercepts. You would have realized that something is off, right? You would have realized that. So just keep that in mind. Even if you were to rewrite it later on, you would have realized that. Okay, close this. And then we have our y is greater than negative 3x. It's already rewritten. If you find plug in, right, a random x value and find the y value, to find a second point. Okay. I'll just do that here. The y-intercept is 0, therefore it will go through 0, 0, the origin. Okay. So if you plugged in 0, y is going to be 0. So a line, this one technically has a plus 0 at the end here. So your y-intercept is 0, which means that it's going through 0, 0. So I'll pick a point. So we can I will pick 5. Pick x is equal to 5. Therefore, y is going to be equal to negative 3 times 5. Y is equal to negative 15. So second point is 5, negative 15. Oh, you can't see that, can you? There. So I'm going to graph it a slightly different way. Okay? And let me add something because I'm kind of trying to picture how you will flip through this later on. I want it to stick out. Okay? So I'm going to go to the top of this column and just say y-intercept is equal to 0. Okay? So I will kind of make it stand out that that's how you will graph it, right? That's how I would recommend you graphing it. I mean, another way would be to just use the slope, right? You start at the origin, and what's your slope here? -3. So -3, 1, right? -3, 1, -3, 1. That's another way of graphing it, sure. So now the fun part. Now let's graph. Okay? So I have to, before you graph a system, what did I tell you to find? The POIs, right? Yeah. And why is that? Just to make sure that our graph will show them. All right? You're looking at me like you're scared. Don't be scared. Okay? Don't be scared. It's just you can overcome this. Trust me. Let's type this in, okay? 3x minus 20. And then I have I'm just going to do this in brackets, -10/3. I would recommend if you plug it in, use the slope as a fraction or anything like that. Just type it in as a fraction when you're trying to graph it. And then we have -3x. These are the three we just all rewritten them, and then hit graph. I'm going to go zoom 6 because if you press zoom 6 and you can see everything, then you're right. If you just kept 10, 10, 10, 10, you're fine. But we have a bit of a problem down here, right? So I'm going to go window, change my Y min to -15. Oh, I'm still in trouble. Why? Because my intercept, right? I should have thought of that. Y min, I'm going to go -25. Because my y-intercept is -20 for one of them. I see everything now. Okay, so most of the points are situated in the fourth quadrant here. So I got to make sure I have enough room for that. Okay, so my graph is going to be focused on this section here. Okay, so grab your ruler. And look at how my graph is focusing more on this quadrant here. And that is fine. X and Y. I want to make sure because based on this graph, right, as long as I get the -20 in here, I'm fine. And the furthest out I go is 6.67. So I'm going to go 5, 10, 15, 20. And I'm only going to label every other one. I use the lines of my piece of loose leaf. It makes it a lot easier. And over here, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a pretty good scale, I would say. Let's plug that in now. I'll wait a little bit until you caught up to your own record. I never told myself the dashed part and all of that. So because this is already rewritten, I can just say dashed, true is above, shade below. I apologize if this is gonna mess up your notes. true above, shade below. Okay, one line at a time. So the first one, 6.67 would be right about there. 0, negative 20 is there. It's dashed. I must say that I found very well done. The dashed versus solid, not many issues there. And the arrowheads were very well done. And your X and your Y axis labeled superb. Okay, so that was great. All right, so we have that there. I don't shade until I'm done all of it. Okay, that's just my way of doing it. And then the horizontal line is at 3.33. So if this is 5, this would be 2.5. So somewhere in there is fine. I will not deduct marks if it's somewhat in the neighborhood where it's supposed to be. And that is a solid line. You can do a lot of graphing in grade 12 as well. So if you manage to be good at it now, you can have a lot easier time next year or next semester. Okay. And then we have our other one, the third line. Remember how I'm going to do this? This is going to the origin. Wait, that's not the origin. Origin is right there. The third line goes through there because my y-intercept is that. And what's the second point we found? 5, negative 15, right? You can see it at the top here. So I'm going to go 5 and negative 15 is right there. So I just plot that and then I connect the origin with it. So if you ever have one of those, just create a point basically. Oh wait, it's dashed, yeah. Easy fix. Easy fix. And that is y is greater than negative 3x. So the first line, where am I shading? The first line is right here. It says shade below. So shade below. Shade it all in. Okay. The other one, the horizontal line, I'm shading above, right? So it's all right there. I don't have to guess and be like, wait a minute, how was it again? I told myself right after I was done working with it. So everywhere above that horizontal line, all of that is false. Just remember, as soon as it's false for one of them, it's false for the system. You cannot use it. And then the last one is shade below, right? So you take this dashed line here, and it says to shade below it. So we're going to go along that one. And just remove all of that. You basically eliminate. Okay? The solution region needs to be labeled. In this case, it's an enclosed region. So you just write down solution like that. And we're going to find our POIs, our points of intersections, on the side here. So that's basically how you graph it, right? They're not always going to be triangles, folks. Some students make it happen on a test like, yeah, it's going to be. So even though it contradicts their work, It's like, no, it's going to be a triangle, right? It's like, not always, not always. So grab your calculators. I don't know if you remember how to do this, but let's go ahead and find the different intersections. So second trace 5 for intersect, right? And I'm going to find this bottom one here first. So I'm going to go enter. I'm going to skip the red line. I'm going to go onto the black one. And so now it's going to find the intersection between those two. And that is 3.33, negative 10. Done, right? And now let's find between the first one and the second one, second trace 5. I'm going to travel along the blue, enter, and it jumps to the red one already. Enter, enter. So that's 5.55, oh sorry, 56, negative 3.33. And the last one, second trace 5. I'm going to jump to the red one, travel over to the black one. So I'm going to go enter, 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 and you get 1.11, negative 3.33. No surprises with a negative 3.33, right? Because they're intersecting that horizontal, right? At that height. So I don't know if you want to do this. This would be A. This is B. And this is point C. That's how you don't have to do that, but just to tell yourself, that's where they come from. If you want to do it right on the graph, if you have room, I'm fine with that. But that's how you do a system with 3 inequalities. All right. What I will do is I will give you another one. Do this on a separate piece of paper, just in case you make a mistake, because there's a high chance of you making a mistake. It's normal. And I want you to get this done. Try to get this done within the 15-minute mark. Less than 15 minutes, or up to 15 minutes, I should say. Okay? It's not an AC, but pretend like it is. Okay? So here, write this down. So basically, you want to find intercepts. You want to rewrite. You want to graph. And you want to find the POIs. I think it's always the little things that throw you off, right? A little sign has the power to completely change everything. Your graph might not even make sense, right? So you have to be very careful in every step. Okay, so let's find the intercepts first. So I'm looking with at that, so it's 3x is equal to negative 12, not just 12. So that's negative 4, right? Then we have the y-intercept is negative 4 is equal to negative 12. Divide everything by negative 4. Y is equal to 3. That's 0, 3. How are we doing so far? Good? Yeah? Okay. Rewrite. So I don't know, maybe that's my fault for always, like, I kind of just go and flip things over right away, but I'm really looking at that and I'm thinking, okay, y is negative. The 3x comes over negative. And the 12 is already there, so it keeps its sign, right? Then I need to divide by negative. I need to flip that inequality, right? Or else I'm in trouble. And it's 3/4 x plus 3, which makes sense, right? It jives with what I have. So that's what I get. It's dashed. Truth is above. I will shade below. Okay? So the first one is done. I'm going to try to do this in less than 15, right? With explanations and everything. This one you should recognize right away. Even if you try to find the intercepts, you got 0, 0, 0, 0, didn't you? Right? So you're like, okay, wait a minute. This is one of those special cases. So I'm just going to bring the 3x over to the other side and then divide everything by 4. Oh, the 3x came over? Negative, right? So y is less than, no flipping of sign, because you're not dividing by a negative. And it's one of those where you have a plus 0. I don't know if you want to add that, right? The y-intercept is 0. So I'm going to pick, I will let x be, pick a smart number, folks. What would be a smart number here to pick for x? 4, I heard 4, right? Why would that be a smart number? Well, because if you plug in 4, it's going to cancel out with the denominator. So you basically end up with y is equal to negative 3/4 times 4. Cancels out. So y is equal to negative 3. So for a second here, I'm just dealing with the boundary line. You're wondering, like, why did you drop the inequality, Mr. Dirksen? So I don't know if you want to just have that like that. So the second point is going to be x equals 4, y is equal to negative 3. That being said, you could have picked any value. It would have still worked out for you, right? But I like nice and round numbers. So anyways, from here, I can determine, I'm just going to rewrite it one more time, that it's dashed. Truth is above, and I shade below. Close case, right? This one is a special case. It's right, special. It's vertical. And it goes through negative 4, 0, right? Goes through negative 4, 0. No need to find intercepts. I know that it's solid. I know that true is where? Right, right? Not funny. Okay. And then where am I at now? Shade left. Yeah, there we go. By the way, I give credit where credit is due. A lot of these things students taught me. They would do that all, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. It's a lot quicker than actually writing out, right? So I'm learning from you, right? You give me hints, I pick up on them. Whatever helps, right? So anyways, now we're ready to graph. Before you graph, please plug them in here first to make sure your points of intersection show up on the graph, because you don't know. Trust me, we're going to deal with thousands, tens of thousands later on when we do word problems, so we want to make sure it works out. I'm preparing you for that, okay? So I just go 3/4 x plus 3, and this one is negative 3/4 x. Don't forget the variable, okay? And based on my window, I'm doing pretty good. I'm going to go zoom 6, and that works just fine. I can't do the, I never told you about this. I was scrolling YouTube the other day, and I found a trick to do vertical lines, guys. I'm so excited. I know you're like, no, I've been trying this for so long. This is the trick. Let me see if I remember. I think it's number 9 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bracket. And it's x. You know how you want to graph -4, right? You have to go opposite. So you have to go +4. Yeah, that's the trick. Let's see if this works. I hope it works. I hope it works. Oh, there you go. Yes. You can tell Ms. Yosik that when you have her next year, or Mr. Erickson, that there is a way. I emailed them on this. I was so excited. Didn't get a reply. So I don't know. Maybe they're saying, way to go, you found out, right? We knew all along. Anyways, YouTube is great sometimes. So now you know, okay? You can do vertical lines, which will make our lives a little bit easier, right? You can use second trace 5 for everything. I forgot to tell you, I knew already for a week or so. Anyways, let's graph quickly before we go, okay? Enough joking around. Let's do this. I'm focusing a little bit more on the left quadrant, so I'm going to off-center it here, like that. Sorry. I'm just off-centering a little bit so that I'm focusing more on the left side, X and Y. Yeah, okay. I'm just thinking a little bit. That will work. So my first line, it's -4, so I'm good. So I'm just going to go by 1 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then just do that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. And that's good enough. And then my first line is -4, 0, and 0, 3. Right there. It's dashed, so make sure you don't forget. I tend to forget sometimes. ¾ x plus 3. And then the second line, you have your origin here. And I think I'm going to be in a little bit of trouble because it's 4, 3, right? No problem. No problem. You have to be flexible, right? So 2, 4, 5 there. So 4 zeros, right? Sorry, 4, 3. 4, -3 is right here. Right there. You got it? So 0, 0, and 4, 3 is there. Or -3, I should say, and that is a dashed. See, your line that you're graphing on your calculator should match what you have here. And then the x -4, This is a solid. This is x is greater than or equal to -4. Again, this one is enclosed, but don't get too used to that, okay? So I'm going to go one line at a time. My first one, I'm shading below. And then the other one, I'm shading, doesn't it say below? I said true above. Yeah, you caught me there. Right? If this one says true is below. Whew. Sorry, guys. Almost shaded it wrong. Almost. So I double checked. I went y is less than, true is below, shade above. Oh boy. That would have been a fun one, right? To erase. Not. Okay. Okay. And the last one, true to the right, so shade left. Okay, we got that one. And you have to be careful that you know that all of this down here is gone. Don't practice yet. Don't practice yet. I will just quickly give you the solution. I will give you the POIs. And they are, write these down so you can check. -4, 0. -4, 3. And -2, 1.5. Hold on. Homework. Yeah, don't give me that. Don't give me that. No, I'm serious. You gotta try this. So this is textbook now. I haven't used it in a long time. You gotta dust it off a little bit. Page 317, 1 to 4. The systems only have 2, so it's doable. I will see you on a 3 graph though. So if you go back to this, the answer key is up, right? For both of these, 4 and 5. One more thing. Look up on the screen because I'm going to show you what to watch out for, because they kind of do it. You know, I warned you how they present it to you. You just focus on the actual inequality. Don't write in the textbooks, okay? This is my beat up for years already. This is actually my own copy, this one. So try that, okay? Don't worry about the weird shading in the book. They kind of do dotted sometimes instead of shading it completely. Don't worry about that.